So when I misbehave, my staff punishes me with having to try to make sense out of the illogical. So here we go. Let the punishment begin. Let's try to process the logic in these memes that underscore how illogical our world really is. Let's take it away. All right, lay it on me, brother. Let's see what we got. All right. If you cheat getting into college, you can go to jail. If you cheat getting into America, you can go to college. It's so crazy. I was just having this discussion today with a client about another discussion I had with a different client who the saying goes that if you are a young person and you're not a Democrat, you don't have a heart. And if you're an old person and you're not a Republican, you don't have a brain. At least that's what the saying is. I'm not judging it for the content. I'm just saying that's what they say. So there was a client who was talking to me about they bought a seven-figure home, and she does very well and he does very well. They're both in IT. And they're starting to see how much money they pay on their taxes now. Property taxes and state taxes, local taxes, and the like, choking on the truth. And they see where all their money goes, and it goes into New York and the like for these policies of people that the first act that they've done is break across the border. Now, of course, there are probably legitimate people that are escaping bad situations, conditions from their country of origin. There's fine. People are coming here. This is the land of opportunity. But when you come, once upon a time, you used to come and you had something to offer. You had somebody who sponsored you. You had a particular skill. You had something to add to and assimilate into the American culture, Americana. And you were happy to come here and call yourself an American and learn the language and assimilate. Well, these folks come over here waving their flags, and then not only do they cheat getting into America because they cut the line, their first act is the illegal act, which is breaking into the country in the name of being a refugee. And then they come here and they expect the rest of us taxpayers to pick up the tab for their hotel stay, their food, their phone, and the like. But you could cheat your way in to the country, no problem. You cheated your way going to college, you'd go to jail. Total lack of logic. I guess let's go to the next one as I choke on this truth. Here we go. And here we go into the next one. Joe Biden lives in the biggest mansion in his state and just bought another mansion in D.C. Bernie Sanders has 4 houses. Obama just got his 3rd mansion. All this money was made from them lecturing you on income inequality. Truth. Facts. Why is it always these people? And it's amazing that people continue to follow these folks and believe psalm and verse that they're fighting for you and they're trying to protect you. And all they really want to do is they want to rob from the rich to give to the poor. What happened to meritocracy? Now, these guys aren't saying, well, we rose up and everybody should have the ability to purchase, multi-million-dollar homes and be able to rise up from the ashes of nothingness into greatness. But they don't believe in this. They believe in punishing people that have gotten there through hard work, effort, energy, suffering, and sacrifice. Tax the hell out of those people. Take that money and give it to people that want to subscribe to the welfare state. Well, if you're going to look for some welfare, well, then you got to prove that you're on your way up. You got to get drug tested. You got to be going for interviews. Maybe even the state provides a little bit of education to get you out, to help you come on up. And there's a certain price tag for that. And when you come up, you pay back that little bit of a loan. And then if you want to take the money from John Q. Taxpayer, who's in the 1%, I'm sure he'd be willing to chip in a little bit if he saw that the people that were coming up were pulling themselves up by their bootstrap and not just begging to continue to live in the welfare state generationally. Good Lord. Let's move on. All right, so my team continues to punish me by showing me this continued lack of logic in pictorials. So here we go. Let's pull up the next one. Let's go. You do realize that Democrats voted to penalize citizens if they didn't buy insurance and now offer it free to illegals. Let that sink in. Well, it doesn't need to sink in long for me because I can tell you right now, I am the victim of this crime, right? Being penalized for not having health insurance. Yeah, I was the victim of that. Let me tell you the story, how this goes. So back in 2009, and just so that you know that I keep things above board and down the center. So when John McCain, this is a big long story, so sit down, get yourself a drink. Here we go. When John McCain selected Sarah Palin, I knew that he was just full of nonsense. Fake, phony, tough guy. Now, I don't take anything away from him being a POW, etc. But obviously, all of that viral, just bacteria-infested Washington that it is, obviously sickened this man because then he became a bureaucrat for the system. So when he chose Sarah Palin, I knew that was a loser, as he should have took Joe Lieberman. But that's another story. It's just an opinion. So I held my nose and voted for Obama with the best of intentions that he was going to have a soaring message because of his persuasive rhetoric that he, as the first black president of the United States, could bring people together. We lost on that one, at least those of us that voted. And those of us that actually said, I'm crossing the line for you now. So I'm holding out hope. Well, there was no hope, but there was change. What that change was? It created a more divisive society because it was the apology tour across the world. It was just the hit job on police. It was justification and rationalization for the welfare state and people blaming other people, and it really divided race relations. That's where it began. So on top of that, it was this redistribution of wealth that those people that did well were responsible for the people that were not doing well, and that those people had to rise up, not through meritocracy, but they were being raised by stealing from rich people. And because my wife, it was necessary for her to have health insurance, I did without. Why? Because I needed to pay for increased energy, for a weakened economy that was coming off of the 2007, 8, 9 subprime debacle and the real estate crash. So we were still healing from all of that. So it was either pay for the roof over my head and health insurance for my wife to keep my business going, not to mention repair the damage I created as a result of going into a transaction of real estate with a sibling. Don't do business with family. That's a big mistake. So I had to repair for all the damage of making that stupid mistake by going into business with a family member. No good, especially when the person has no moral compass. So I was paying for that mistake. And all of a sudden then, it became, well, you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, you could keep your plan. And then he was going to try to decrease, or the promise was, a decrease in the cost of health insurance. Newsflash for business owners or other people that had their own health insurance through their company, or there were government jobs that were paying for the health insurance. We lost our health insurance. My wife lost her doctors, and we had to get on the Obamacare plan, which not only cost more money, but the care was less, and she had to find new doctors. And then because I didn't have health insurance, I was penalized more and more and more and more every year for not having health insurance until Trump came into office. At which point he reversed all of that. So they were stealing money from me every single year, taxing me, penalizing me, because I didn't want the crappy health insurance they were offering. They were forcing me into a purchase that I didn't want at that time. And now that I'm in that 1%, in and out of that 1%, now they take my money and they don't force these people to have health insurance and penalize them. They give it to people whose first act in this country was crossing the border, that illegal act. They give it to them for free. A reward, in fact. Here's your health insurance. Here's your phone. Here's a card to feed yourself and your family. Just keep letting them in. And somewhere for you to go. Don't worry about getting a job. We'll continue to pay for you. Let that sink in on November 5th when you go to the poll. You got more. All right, what, 2 more? 3 more? I'm going on a crazy rant here. You're getting me nuts over here. Okay, bring it up. So now, burning a gay flag is called a hate crime. Burning the American flag is called free speech. Well, you can't have it both ways. So, come on, man. Just be consistent. That's what I always say. Be consistent. You want to burn the American flag? I think it should be, quite frankly, it probably should be criminal. Okay, but again, when you live in a society, a constitutional democratic republic, you have to be able to allow for a wide range of views, and some of which are controversial. So, if you're going to burn the American flag, the symbol of the country itself, and that which represents people that have fought and died in the name of democracy and a free society for folks, the beacon of which calls in people from all corners of the world coming for a better life. Otherwise, they wouldn't be, getting on boats and illegally crossing borders and risking getting eaten by crocodiles and drowning in the ocean to get here. Obviously, it's got to be better than wherever they are. So there are people that fought and died to maintain this beacon of a better life for everybody else in the world. So you can understand when you burn the flag, how that burns people's asses, even those of us that did not serve in the military, though tried. So you're going to burn the gay flag, same thing. Not a hate crime, just people that don't believe in what that lifestyle represents. When people are burning the American flag, they're burning it because they don't like what that lifestyle, the American lifestyle, represents. Could be greed, could be capitalism, whatever. There was just a situation where a Fox News reporter chased down Talisha, whatever her name is, Tlaib, one of the squads, one of these gals, Rashida Tlaib, I think is that it? Rashida Tlaib? And said, how do you feel about these Palestinians chanting death to America, right here in the States? Well, she didn't have an answer for that because it was a Fox News reporter. All right, so why don't we change it? How about these people were out there chanting death to Palestine? What do you think about that? Can you answer that question? I bet you could. So you can't have it both ways. So baby, be consistent. You're being told to lower your AC usage on hot days to prevent overwhelming the existing electric grid while simultaneously being told to trade in your gas cars for electric vehicles. Well, you got me in a little bit out of my depth, but I know this having worked for an electric company. And if you do go to Google, anything that you see to do with EV and the climate crisis always seems to direct you to websites and memes and things that the climate crisis is manufactured, that EVs are without question the way to go. You have to do your own research on this. But having worked for an electric company, obviously they want to move to a greener environment, solution with these electric vehicles. However, you could see sales on electric vehicles not so great. Ford having a hard time. They're just piling up. You have so many problems with these huge electric batteries that if the battery goes it's like $20,000 to get a brand new car. Not to mention that the cost, which is still driven by natural gas and petroleum and oil, all these things necessary to even mine for the lithium, the energy required for the energy returned from an EV is in the negative, which means that you have to invest more coal and these other kinds of energy just to bring more electric vehicles into the market that people don't want, and the difficulty of not only mining and creating for the battery and the car and the lifespan of that car. What do you do with the battery and the byproduct when you actually have to dispose of the vehicle? Tough questions. Not to mention that we've had, especially California, such a strain on their electric grid just being solely powered by maybe natural gas and fossil fuel. That grid currently can't even handle the 2 or 3% of all electricity required, plus the vehicles on the grid, drawing from the grid to be repowered. And now you want to go to what, 10, 15, 20%? How is that going to happen? Totally crazy. But here you go. Make up your own damn mind. Do some research. Me included. Last one. All right, lay it on me. Let's see what we got. 4% of all Americans are millionaires. 51% of our Congress are millionaires. Remember this when a politician talks about income inequality. Yeah, isn't that crazy? All of these people have pensions, health care for a lifetime, better than all of ours, and want to take from the people that have and redistribute that to the people that do not. But all these people, the Bernies, the Obamas, the Clintons, all these people, the Pelosi's, all these people have millions of dollars and multiple homes with walls around them, borders, if you will, that want to preach to the rest of us how we should live and not be fascist and racist and xenophobic and all this stuff, when they themselves live behind these high walls on the hills from their glass towers, espousing these belief systems. All wealthy people that want to talk about how evil wealthy people are. Well, why don't you kick in some of your dollars? Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, how much of Biden's salary that he's been taking all these years did he contribute, did he donate back to the Treasury? I think all of it, right? Didn't Biden donate his salary? That's what he said he was going to do. He was going to donate his salary to the Treasury or some charity or something. Was that him? Maybe that was Trump. I don't remember. But again, all these hypocrites preaching these ideologies to the rest of us while they themselves are wealthy and financially isolated from all the situations we face on the everyday with rising cost of energy and food and just those things we need for daily living. They hide behind these walls of security and sanctuary with great medical plans, $175,000 a year salaries or more, preaching to the rest of us how we're being xenophobic or some other kind of an idea where we want meritocracy to rule the day and we want everybody to earn their fair share to sit at the table working hard to accomplish a piece of the American dream. Good Lord. I'm done.